Great. Good morning, everyone, and thank you all for attending today's TechXpert session featuring Broan Newtone. My name is Abby Birch, Manager of Industry Marketing. Our TechXpert marketing campaign is designed to highlight our top-notch service and expertise of our Tech Support Center who offers through a series of training webinars, short tech tip videos, blog articles, and social media content. Today, you will hear from Jeremiah from Broan Newtone, who will be discussing code changes as well as Broan's Ultra Green and Surface Shield products. One lucky winner today will receive a sample of this product that we will notify you after today's session. We will be recording today's session, and if you have any questions throughout today's webinar, you can chat or type them in the chat feature and we will address them at the end of today's presentation. I will also unmute everybody after Jeremiah finishes today to ask him some questions. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to you, Jeremiah.
Well, thank you very much, Abby. I appreciate it. And thank you everybody for attending today and this opportunity to speak with you guys about some codes and some new products that Broan has available. On the screen there, you see that I'm our Midwest construction sales manager based out of Chicago, but I do travel throughout the country working with different agencies and certification programs such as ResNet, Building Performance Institute, Energy Star, EPA, Passive House, and so forth. And my focus inside of Broan is our building science strategies and where ventilation is going, as well as indoor air quality solutions. So that's my focus with inside of Broan. And today our agenda is we're going to go through some of the kind of a code overview specific to ventilation, as well as review our Ultra Green series fan and our Surface Shield ventilation fan. So that's our agenda for today. And as we all know, codes can be confusing, can be challenging, especially across the country. I mean, every different part of the country has different challenges, whether it's they're hot, they're cold, and this is a slide of all the different climate zones throughout the United States. And as you can see there, we've got 1 through 7, and we've got wet to dry. So there's not one solution that fits all when it comes to the product that you guys are going to want to use or select to meet codes. As well as on top of that, every state and every municipality and every region has a different code adopted. And so it can be very challenging for you at times to understand what those are. And Broan is here to support you guys through those challenges. So by all means, reach out to Broan, reach out to your local rep and or myself. I'm more than willing to assist you guys with guiding you and directing you towards solutions that will work for your specific location. And as you'll see here, some of the key words or terms that are used, DUV, you'll see that quite a bit, which means dwelling unit ventilation. You're also going to see WHMV for whole house mechanical ventilation. So just be mindful of what those mean. And you're going to see them inside of the 2018 IRC and the 2018 IECC. These are the two most recent adopted codes throughout the country. And as you'll see, both of these codes have requirements for whole house mechanical ventilation, wanting to bring in fresh air into the house. These homes are being built a lot tighter, and during that process, we are trapping contaminants, moisture, and so forth inside of homes. So we'll need to make sure that we are bringing in fresh air to keep that house habitable as well as comfortable and provide the best air quality possible. You'll also see that there are requirements for spot ventilation that you must deliver a minimum of 50 CFMs at 0.25 inch of static pressure. Also part of the 2018 IRC, you'll see range hoods must be third-party verified and certified through like HVI. And then if you have a range hood that's over 400 CFMs, you're required to provide makeup air for that range hood. And also, if that range hood is over 100 CFMs, it must be vented to the outside. So these are some of the challenges that you guys will see with these different codes as you experience them updating in your local state. What I also want to review, is HVI has standards out there when it comes to how to size fans for bathrooms. And so how they've done it is you have your length times width times height times 0.13. So it's really a simple calculation for you guys to use when it comes to calculating the actual, CFM. Even though the codes state that it's a minimum of 50, it doesn't mean that's what, the maximum or where you should be at. So if you have a larger master bathroom, you may need, 100 CFMs in that bathroom. And something to also keep in mind is that, Broan for decades, and historically, we have documented all of our fans at 0.1 inch of static pressure, which is about, 3 feet of duct. It's what we use at the factory to test our fans. But through, decades of installation and, code reviews and so forth, we've come to find out that most homes actually have that 0.25 inch of static pressure. So even though, right there in our literature, it's going to say, oh, this is a 50 CFM fan, and you are, selecting that fan in order to meet your requirement, it may actually not meet the requirement due to static pressure. And how static pressure, is affected is affecting all ventilation fans is through, duct runs. How long is that duct run? How many, elbows or 90s and so forth you have attached to that duct, and then whether it's rigid or smooth ducts. So those types of duct work and installations can affect the actual performance of that fan. And just know that, Broan, we've got the broadest selection, the broadest options of products out there to help you. So if the current fan that you're selecting isn't working or isn't meeting the code, we've got a solution out there for you. And I wanted to give you guys, kind of a view of our new spec page and how we're assisting you guys with these codes. Is that, we're now documenting and showing within our spec page both the fan tested at 0.1, as well as we look at the end there, we have it at 0.25. So that 50 CFM fan that, we have been using for decades, at 0.25, it's really only 36 CFMs. So that may be a challenge. So you may have municipalities that are going to request this type of spec page for you guys to submit during your plan review stages. And to the point that you may need to bump that 50 CFM fan up to 70 CFMs in order to get that minimum of 50. So in this situation, we see our 70 CFM fan is 60 CFMs at 0.25 inch of static pressure. What you'll also find out there with code officials is they'll use a table such as this to help them in the field. And this is, for them to do visual inspections. So they'll use this table out there. I've seen them walk around with it in the Chicago market, just kind of doing, visual inspections that, hey, this fan, 50 CFM is the minimum. What size ductwork, do they have? You'll see here on the left column, that you have, 3 inch, 4 inch, 5 inch, 6 inch duct sizes here on the left. And at the top, they show, flex and, smooth or rigid duct with different CFMs, showing them, how long, how many linear feet you can use in order to hit those required CFMs. So, they'll just do kind of a walk through that project and say, okay, this is 4 inch. And how far are we going roughly? Or we're going from the front of the house all the way to the back of the house. Well, that's maybe longer than 50 feet in some situations. So that fan physically is not able to push that required CFM. So just be mindful that, 4 inch is becoming the standard of all, pretty much most ventilation fans in the market right now. And that 4-inch isn't just the ductwork, it's the termination itself on the fan. We have a lot of legacy products out there that have a 3-inch termination on them. And so what we have done is we have started to, launch new products that have that 4-inch termination to accommodate that 4-inch duct moving forward, as well as a lot of our new fans. We're producing them with 6-inch duct to help with that performance. And I can't emphasize enough that ductwork is so crucial and so important to the performance. And proper ductwork and proper duct design is everything. So this illustration is actually cut from our literature, our catalog, that we show a bath fan, and then we show ideally the best installation for that fan is a nice, smooth, straight run out of the house to a wall cap. That is really how you're going to maximize the performance of that fan. But we also understand the reality of it is that there's other other ductwork or other piping or plumbing or trusses and all these things that are out there in the real world that contractors and builders are having to deal with. So you might need to put in some 90s or go up to the roof. And one thing this illustration also shows is ideally we want to go 2 to 4 feet straight before we make any turns, because that allows that fan to get up to speed first before it makes a turn, so it can carry that momentum, carry that CFM through that turn. So just keep that in mind when you may be having conversations about duct work, and I know you guys don't get into that business all the time, being electrical and so forth, but just be mindful that hey, you have to partner up with that HVAC contractor and make sure that they're going that 2 to 4 feet straight, or making sure that that particular fan is mounted in a position that will allow for that HVAC contractor to hook up their ductwork and run that 2 to 4 feet straight before he makes a turn and so forth. So it's really a team effort out there between the electrical and the mechanical contractor on when it comes to performance of these fans. Because all too often I've seen these guys come right out of that termination and make a 90-degree turn, and that is really catastrophic for any ventilation fan. It doesn't matter whose it is. If you come out of it and make a 90-degree turn, that's going to be a big challenge for that particular fan to overcome. So transitioning back to some of the codes and the building science side of things, part of the IRC and IECC codes is ventilation and whole house mechanical ventilation, and what they're going to do is a series of tests to measure what's called the natural infiltration. And so they're going to hook up a product like this. You see this little red door here that they put inside of the front door typically, and they have that fan that depressurizes the envelope of that home down to 50 pascals. And essentially it's supposed to emulate a 4-mile-an-hour wind on all surfaces of that structure, so that it can test where and how the air would leak into that structure. So you're going to be seeing these type of tests being done, and it's typically done in the rough in stage, after insulation's up and they've done some caulking and things like that, but before the drywall is typically when this is done, because then if there are any challenges and things that need to be addressed, it's easily addressable. They can go out and re-caulk an area, or insulate an area, or some of your penetrations to the outside. If you're drilling any holes for your conduit or any of your transitions, that we may need to caulk those and may need to address, how that that air is going to come into the building properly. And what the your energy rater is also going to do is they're going to use what's called ASHRAE 62.2 charts to calculate the actual CFM number of that house. And every house is going to be different based off of the square feet and the number of bedrooms. So every single house is going to have their own calculations. And inside of our literature, and you'll see all over the place, there are, charts like this to kind of give you guys an idea as to, what CFM fans should you be selecting. So on this chart, let's say if we picked, a 3,000 square feet home, and we have 2 to 3 bedrooms, we're at 75 CFMs. Well, one of our products, our ZV80, we're going to talk about later, maxes out at 80 CFMs. So you only have a 5 CFM buffer in that particular situation. So we always recommend or try to suggest that if you're that close to that maximum of that fan, always bump up to the next level just in case. Because what your HERS rater is actually going to do is they're going to use a table like this, where they're going to actually do all the specific calculations, and they're going to come out with a specific number, not just it's about 70 CFMs. They're going to say, oh, we want 72, or we want 74, or whatever it may be, because it's science, it's math to them, and that's what they're getting paid or on the job to do. So you'll see here in this calculation, this top one, ASHRAE 62.2 2010 is the most widely used formula in the industry right now, where it uses 1% of the square feet of the home plus 7.5 CFMs per occupant. And how they're able to figure that out is a number of bedrooms plus 1, because they're assuming that the master is going to have 2 occupants. So in this particular example, we got a 3,500 square foot house. We have a 4-bedroom, and so we add that up with 35 CFMs for the 1% and 38 CFMs for the 4 bedrooms, and that gets us to 73 CFMs. So this is more of an exact of what your code official and your energy rater are going to use to determine what your CFM number is. There are some municipalities and some certifications, such as Passive House or some LEED certified projects, where they're going to want to use the ASHRAE 62.2 2013 formula. And the difference between the 2013 and the 2010 is that they're using 3% of the square feet of the home versus 1%. And the reason why they're doing that is because we know that, houses need more ventilation, but these high performance homes are built a lot tighter, and to where they're really not getting much natural infiltration at all. So they want to oversize the ventilation slightly, but if you also see there, infiltration credits may be applied once the blower door test is done, because they'll know exactly how much infiltration air is coming in, and they can deduct that from their overall number. So in this particular case, we show that the same size house using the 2013 formula requires 143 CFMs versus the 73. But like I said, again, you can always deduct your natural infiltration from that number if your house is leaky. So I like showing both of these formulas just so that you guys are aware, but just know that the 2010 is used more frequently than anything else. So when it comes to the whole house mechanical ventilation strategies and the solutions that are out there, there's 3 strategies, as you'll see here on the screen. You'll have an exhaust strategy, a supply strategy, and a balanced strategy. And each of them have different effects on the house, on the structure, as well as obviously cost and operation and so forth. So the exhaust strategy typically is a bath fan running continuously, creating a negative pressure, kind of sucking air in from the wall assemblies and so forth, and using the existing cracks and crevices to bring in your fresh air. Where the supply strategy is more exactly the opposite. We have a fan that's pushing air into the house, positively pressurizing, kind of like a balloon effect, and that warm air inside the home gets pushed into the wall assemblies and leaks out naturally. Or there's a balanced strategy where it has 2 fans. It has one bringing air in, one bringing air out, and typically they're going through an HRV or an ERV core, where we're able to recover some of the temperature, some of the money we've already invested in that home to heat or cool. but it is the most expensive, and it's not really used a whole lot. So right now, currently, we are seeing throughout the country that the exhaust strategy is the most dominant and most used strategy out there today, which transitions me into our Ultra Green and Surface Shield product, where this Ultra Green series fan, which is also our ZB series, will meet that exhaust strategy for you guys, where it runs continuously at that low CFM, with a spot or a boost mode built into it. So as you see in the corner, we have a series of dials here. We've got a blown up view of it right here, showing you this is where you would set your continuous number. So if you're at that 70 CFMs, well, in this case, if it's 110 CFM fan, so we got plenty of room there. So you would dial this in to 100, to 70 CFMs, knowing the fact that you have that wall switch hooked up to the boost feature. So as a occupant were to walk into the bathroom, they'd hit that wall switch and it ramps up to 110. All of these fans, the ZB series fans, have a timer also built into it, so that as you turn the switch into the off position, that timer engages and will continue to ventilate in boost mode for that period of time to really clear out the moisture in that bathroom. Because most homeowners have no idea the damage or potential damage they could do to their house by not ventilating it properly and getting all the moisture out as quickly as possible. What you also see here is that we have DC smart motors built into this that will adjust for static pressure. So they're designed to be super quiet, running at that 80 or 110 CFMs. But as we talked about earlier, ductwork is everything. So if you've got a challenging duct scenario, well, this fan is more of a health and safety product now. It has to adjust and modulate to hit that required CFM. So it's going to speed up and try to overcome that long ductwork. Well, just keep in mind that there is a trade-off with that as that fan speeds up, it's going to be running at a higher RPM to overcome that long duct run, and it may become a louder fan at that point. So designed at 0.1, it's less than 0.3 zones, but if it's running at a higher RPM to overcome that long ductwork, that it's going to be a louder fan. What's also nice about this particular product is we have this telescoping frame here you'll see around the outside of this housing that allows you to go 14 to 24 inches on center. So this is especially awesome when it comes to new construction, because we have these tabs right here that you'll see that'll just go right up onto the stud, and you'll have those pre-installed screws that you just zip those into the one side of the stud. You just slide it over to the other side, zip those in, and essentially the fan is already hanging between the trusses for you. It also allows you to center that fan between the trusses anywhere you want. How many times that toilet isn't exactly right on that stud, or that homeowner wants that fan right there. So you guys are, sometimes required to put extra framing and so forth to center that fan. Well, we have that feature built into this product. I also want to make sure you guys know that, this product is Energy Star certified, as well as has a lighted LED option available. I'm going to show you guys a short video when it comes to our new Surface Shield product.
Introducing the newest ventilation fan from Broan. With Surface Shield technology, powered by Vinyl Bio. Bathrooms are a breeding ground for germs, mold, and fungi. The warm, humid environment is perfect for these germs to thrive. With a flip of a switch, Broan's powerful ventilation combined with Surface Shield technology helps protect your family by removing the humidity and preventing bacteria, mold, and fungi from growing. Vinyl Bio light shines on the bacterial cell and activates an excess of reactive oxygen molecule species within the cell. Buildup of these molecules is toxic, which causes cellular damage and the death of the cell, rendering it harmless. Surface Shield is designed to work continuously. Operating at less than 4 watts, it will only cost you pennies a day. The Surface Shield light, combined with a regular cleaning routine, will help keep your bathroom cleaner and healthier for your family.
So this is our Surface Shield spot ventilation fan. So just want to preface that, this one doesn't have 2-speed capability. This is just your standard on-off bath fan. But it has that Surface Shield light integrated in it. So as you'll see here from this slide, that it helps reduce bacteria and mold growth in bathrooms utilizing what's called near UV technology. So it's not going to be harmful for us as occupants in the home for us to be in there while this light is on. At the same time, it's bouncing and reflecting off of surfaces inside the bathroom and just helping to reduce again that bacteria and mold growth. One thing I want to point out though is that it does include a powerful 110 CFM fan along with it. So that 110 CFM fan will help get the moisture out of that bathroom, quickly, and it's at one zone of performance. So it does also have a white light integrated in it. So how that works is this light is a chipped light, so that it has little diodes on there, and they basically alternate between a white light and the Vital VO light, and every other diode on that chip is going to be either white or the Vital VO, so it alternates for you. So when you walk into the bathroom, you hit your wall switch, it's going to turn on that white light at the 3500K. As you leave the bathroom, if you want to turn the Vital VO on, you would turn the light off and then back on quickly, and then it automatically turns on to this the Vital VO setting, and will stay on that as long as the light switch is on. If you go back into that bathroom as the Vital VO is operating, you can easily turn it off and then turn it back on, and it goes back to that white light. I do also want to show you kind of a time lapse of what it looks like between a standard light and the Vital VO, and this is just a 4-day kind of time lapse showing you on the left here the standard light, and what underneath this special lens showing you guys kind of how it helps reduce that bacteria. So in any of these videos that I've showed you today, I'd be more than happy to provide you. All you would have to do is request it from us. And lastly here, this is, a slide just showing you the different options that it comes. So it comes as a complete unit with that 110 CFM fan, with the Vital VO light and our clean cover grill, as you see there. We do also have it as an upgrade option with the grill and the LED light. So if you like that clean cover look, you don't currently have that on your unit, you can always buy it with that clean cover grill and the Vital VO light. Or if you already have the grill that you like, and this option does come as a module only, where you can snap out the existing LED light module and upgrade it to this Vital VO. But one thing I do want to preface is that this upgrade only works with our Broan A series lighted units that are currently installed. So with that, I appreciate your time. I tried to keep this to our 30-minute timetable, and but I'm more than willing to hang around a little bit and answer any questions that may have come up in the chat window, and see what else I can answer for you all.
Awesome, thanks, Jeremiah. A couple questions that did come through is, what was the wattage of that white light that you were talked about a little bit ago?
Yeah, so the Vital VO here, like I said, the white light is your standard light. It does have an 11-watt light at that 3500K. It does also provide you 800 lumens, where when it's switched over to that Vital VO stage, it's only using about 4 watts. So it goes from 4 watts as the Vital VO up to 11 watts as the white light.
Great. And just as a reminder, everybody is able to unmute and ask questions if they would like. One other question that came in is, are both the Surface Shield and the Ultra Green products retrofittable in existing homes?
Yes, so that is also one thing that we wanted to make sure that these products could be in both new construction and retrofittable. So the Ultra Green series had that telescoping frame, allowing you to cut a hole the same size as that housing, and the frame would actually detach from the housing, go up through that opening, spread, hit your two studs, and then everything can be installed from inside the bathroom. And similarly with the Surface Shield, is for decades our fans had what I call that blade, that big mounting bracket that was solid steel. Well, now we've perforated it, giving you the ability to bend that frame against the housing if you don't need to use it for new construction. So yes, both of these products are designed to be retrofittable using the existing electrical and existing ductwork that's already been installed in the home.
Great. Next question is, what is the A-Series Broan fan?
Yes. Oh, the A-Series Broan fans, basically those are our two latest launches of mid-range product, our Invent series and our Flex series. So what you'll do is when you see them in our catalog, it's just going to be like an A80 or an AE80B or an AE80L, things along that line. So anything that has that A as that first letter, than anything after that. But keep in mind though, is that these upgrades, as you see here, these lighted upgrades do require that they're a lighted product. So it does need to be, like an AE80L at the end. So that L is crucial because otherwise it doesn't have the plug to plug in the light.
Great. One question that just came through the chat is there a commercial equivalent to the Surface Shield bath fan?
So we don't have, I guess it depends on what type of commercial installation you're looking for. This, many of our ventilation fans can be installed in light commercial environments if the CFM is high enough. So if you need 110 CFMs, then yes, this particular product can be installed in, like a commercial, bathroom and so forth, and like let's say a truck stop or a gas station or whatever. You can install these, in those applications. Again, if they meet their codes. Some of those codes do require a metal grill and so forth. So in that situation, this wouldn't work. We have another line of ventilation fans that are more particular to that light commercial market, where they have metal grills and they go up to higher CFMs, even up to 2,000 CFMs. Where this one, as you saw, it goes up to 110. So as long as it meets those requirements of, hey, 110 CFM is good, and they don't mind this plastic grill, then this fan can be installed in those types of situations.
Great. And the last question for today is, what are the positive and negatives to the whole house mechanical ventilation solutions?
Oh, yes. So as I mentioned, the most popular right now is the exhaust. But as I did talk about, you got the exhaust supply and balanced. So those three different strategies or solutions, have different installed cost, operation cost, and efficiencies. So what we have found out is that the exhaust strategy is the least expensive for installed cost. And it's not that expensive to operate. It's relatively cheap and it's relatively good when it comes to efficiency. So it's really good on installed and it's middle of the road for operation and efficiency. Where the supply strategy, yeah, it's a little more expensive than the exhaust. So it's middle of the road for installed cost, but its operation cost is at the high end. It's the most expensive when it comes to operating it, because you have to run your furnace, as well as when it, along with that operation cost, it's not that efficient. So it's on the high end of the efficiency charts. When it comes to the balance strategy, that's where it's on the high end of installed cost, because it costs the most to get it installed, but it's at the very bottom when it comes to operation cost, and it is the most efficient product for longevity and running all the time. So each of these strategies do have different benefits and features and so forth. And that's where, Broan, we have professionals in all your markets. We are more than willing to speak with you about that and really help fine tune what solution is best for you. And keep in mind that, Broan, we've been doing this for over 80 years, and we have so many different solutions out there to the point where I call us a total solutions manufacturer. So it allows us to really fine tune a specific product for your project.
Awesome, great. Well, if there is no more questions, we'll wrap up today's session. Want to give a special thanks to Broan Newtone and Jeremiah for sponsoring today's TechXpert webinar series, and for all of those who attended and took time out of your schedules to check out this TechXpert series. Make sure that you check out the TechXpert series on Facebook, LinkedIn, or on our blog site, blog.cesco.com/TechXpert, where you'll find all the links to our tech tip videos, blog articles, and upcoming webinars. Have an awesome day, everyone. See ya.
Thank you.